In the heart of the community, where conversations flow as freely as the barber's scissors, a unique dialogue unfolds. Welcome to the barbershop, a place not just for haircuts, but for honest discussion and connection across generations. Meet Kordel Davis, a passionate young voice eager to navigate the complexities of today's political landscape. He represents a generation striving for change and empowerment. And alongside him is Brother Black, aka Bill Davis, a respected educator and a bridge to the wisdom of the past. With years of experience and insight, he embodies the knowledge that shapes our future. The owner of the Hair Den is Charles Serite. Welcome to Cuts and Conversations.
Welcome to the barbershop.
We're at the barbershop and we're going to have a great discussion today. Come on in.
Hey y'all, it's Jonathan Hildner here, the Deputy National Black Engagement Director for the Hair's Walls campaign. I'm here now in East End, Pennsylvania for Cuts and Conversations. Excited for the conversation, excited to speak with the people.
Hey Jonathan, what's happening? Hey, Brother Black, what's happening?
What's happening?
How you doing, son?
My brother.
Good as far. Good to see you. Good to see you too.
Yo, Kordel, what's up?
How you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing? How you feel? Let's
Professor Black, there's a lot of controversy in the black community about Kamala's Harris, when he was DA in California, incarcerating a large amount of African American men. Can you speak to that issue?
Absolutely. I mean, what most of us sometimes don't recognize is that black men are the #1 group of misinformation. And so because of the fact that we don't necessarily do our homework and our research in manner that we should, when we go back and look at Kamala Harris's record when she was the DA, that she introduced programs to reduce the number of black men that were incarcerated. And so, but because of the fact that there are people who have a vested interest in making sure that she doesn't become president, and when you look at her record, so we talk about her being DA, Attorney General, Senator, Vice President, there hasn't been a candidate in history that has the portfolio that she has. And so, but they want to try to, the thing we cannot afford is for our community to be divided. And so there are people who are trying to sow the seeds of the division for us now. And so it's important for us to put that misinformation to rest and make sure that we are clear this system is going to work in our interest. Black women will always work in our interest. And so she's going to do the same thing.
Hi everybody, my name is Kordel Davis. I am here to support Kamala Harris to be our next president of the United States. I believe that she is going to be for the people, for black people in America, black families, black men. So I work with an organization called the USDA Coalition of Minority Employees, and we work with descendants of slaves in America who own farmland, okay? So we worked with the Biden administration to get billions of dollars allocated to black farmers through the American Rescue Plan. And the bill was signed, everything was good, it had the president's signature, and then Donald Trump's super PAC, led by Mr. Whitaker, actually took all these cases, he took the law to the courts, and the judges stopped the aid from being dispersed. So billions of dollars that were, for the first time in American history, allocated to black farmers. It was some of the first reparations that we ever saw, was halted due to Donald Trump. Donald Trump, still behind the scenes, was funding these court cases with his super PACs. So if Donald Trump gets back into office and he actually has executive authority and power, he is going to dismantle our freedoms and strip away our rights, okay? He has already said across the country that if we protest, he wants to unleash a National Guard on us, okay? And he said the other day he'll just take Liz Cheney and do target practice on her. Time is always now. And Donald Trump and his supporters and his people, the MAGA team, has said over and over again that they do not want people like you and me to succeed, okay? They look at us as a threat, when we are just people trying to live our lives. We're just trying to be happy and live in peace. And Kamala Harris is just going to allow us to live in freedom and live our lives normally and peacefully, so that we don't have to be in fear of Trump and MAGA, of what they're going to try to do next. to dismantle our freedoms. We just really need to go out there Tuesday on Election Day and vote for Kamala Harris so that we can continue a sense of normalcy in our country and we can all remain sane. It's such a crucial time in our history, and we have to vote, because if we don't, it'll be 2016 all over again, and we already remember what those 4 years were like, and we do not want to live in that time again for 4 more years.
We're not going back.
We're not going back.
We're not going back. Not going back. Not going back.
Is anybody still contemplating, still trying to decide who they're going to vote for on November 5th?
In the beginning, I can't lie, and I hate to say this because it may sound insensitive, but women's rights have kind of been from what we've been seeing, has been kind of like the forefront topic of the Democratic campaign. And not saying that I don't respect women, not saying that I have daughters, I have a wife and all, but I'm an entrepreneur, I'm self-employed. My main concern is how am I going to provide for my family. And it kind of was a no-brainer, go with the businessman. You know what I'm saying? The guy that is, you may not like him morally, you know what I mean? You may not like what he, look, I had football coaches that I didn't like, you know what I'm saying? But if we win, right, you know what I'm saying, then we win. And so that's been my mindset. But I mean, the more conversations like this, it allows me to see exactly what's going on. So
well, let's talk about your points, because I mean, it's all valid. As a man, for a lot of us, it's hard, especially in this hyper masculine generation that we have. It's hard to put our issues aside to focus on women's rights and bodily autonomy. But I think one thing that's helped me throughout this process is, understanding that right now it's Roe v. Wade, later on it's Brown versus Board of Education, it's interracial marriage, it's all of the rights that our ancestors have fought for and really moved the page forward for. Cuts and conversations that have been had across the state, in other states that have been in and had these conversations. Our young men and their perception of women is skewed. And I think we've done it, I'm 30, but I'll take account for this as well, is like speaking to our young men about who women are, what they are to us, and what they've been to our community since day one. There was an 18-year-old, just turned 18, he voted that day, but just registered to vote after our conversation. But he first said that he wasn't going to vote for Kamala Harris because she's a woman and women are emotional. And that has been a ongoing perception from young men that I've talked to, specifically black men, throughout the state. And I think having real conversations about it, the irony of this all is this is a young man with 5 siblings who's raised by a single mom. Right. And so, when we talk to people and we're having conversations about relating it to how we were raised, how our community looks, I think that's just extremely important. And conversations like this are extremely helpful there too. But last piece on the business piece, hopefully you already know, but we rolled out a couple weeks ago the Black Men's Opportunity Agenda, and one of those things is for small business owners a $20,000 forgivable grant. And with more money and investment into our minority small businesses to continue to create that platform and opportunity for them to not only start up but stay afloat. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that you're doing your research and you're having these conversations. And
all the brothers here, we are at a historic moment in history. And I want us to think about Harriet Tubman and all the different people, Frederick Douglass, all the people that faced historic moments in history before, and what their role was in order for us to be where we are today. And so there's a narrative being put out there that we need to make sure we put in check. So they're setting us up to try to say that black men didn't vote enough for Kamala Harris in this election. We want to make sure that we put that narrative to rest, that at least 80% of black men will vote for Kamala Harris. In fact, we're the only group that people expect 100% of us to vote for one person or one party. And so it's important for us to make sure that we vote in our interests. When you look at the plan that Vice President Harris just put out, it talks about particularly health for black men. Black men die younger than anybody else in the country. And And so when we think about our diabetes, cholesterol, all the different challenges that we face, it's important for us to think about what is in our short-term, long-term interests. For those of us that are parents, we want to be around to make sure that we can watch our children and grandchildren grow up. When I looked at that plan, I was like, this focus on health to me was really, really important. So, and for, my brother here and all black men that have businesses in which $50,000 can be invested in black-owned businesses. I mean, to me, Ray Charles can see who he's supposed to vote for. And so I'm hoping that the brothers will come together. We have always had to outperform expectations of us, right? I mean, most brothers have very low expectations, and so we had to overcome all the negative perceptions people have about us. And so in this moment, right now, in 2024, it's time for us to do what we've always done, which is rise to the challenge and make sure that we accomplish something that's going to be great for our community. Vote Kamala Harris for president.